Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the spot where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Welcome home, Brains. There's only one requirement to hang out on the edge, is that you open your big brain and close your small mind. Did you bring your thinking caps? It's time to put them on, because the conversation starts now.
Bring it on.
Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. This is the spot where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. And we have Chrissy Chrissy all the way from Australia. We're going to talk about mindfulness. We talk a lot about that because everybody has a different perspective on mindfulness, what that looks like, how to have clarity. This thing called a mindset. It's not a particular dial. It's like the dial on a radio. You've got to find the right frequency. And it's contingent upon what you need. Are you trying to reduce self-sabotage? Are you trying to limit those limiting beliefs? Are you trying to stop that chatter that's running around in your mind? Are you trying to learn Zen and to be calm and to be peaceful with meditation and mindfulness? So Chrissy Chrissy is, I'm just going to call her Chris, is going to help us with all of that today here on the Edge. Let's welcome her brains. How are you, Chrissy?
I'm really, really well. Thanks, April. It's really great to be here. Thank you for inviting me and having me here.
Girl, I love that red hair. It's got me on fire.
Signature hair.
Absolutely. So what made you do that? What made you just come out and just say, I'm going to be bold and make a statement and I'm going to start with my hair?
I think it was more my hair artist design for me to be able to feel confident in who I was, because I was going through lots and lots of changes, and I went to her with what she called a mullet, which are quite fashionable now, but to her 5 years ago, no mullet, Chrissy. We're getting rid of the mullet and we're going to spice up your color to suit your personality. And this is what I got, and I love it.
And absolutely, it really speaks to your character. Dial back a little bit and introduce yourself to my brains and tell them, a little bit about what you've been through, where you are, and where you're headed.
Yeah, of course. So what I've been through is a lot of self-doubt, a lot of self-sabotaging thoughts about who I was, what I could be, who I was serving, massive people pleaser, wanting everybody to like me because I just thought that would make me happier. And the mind chatter kept saying, you need to serve people, you need to do what they want, you need to be doing everything for everybody else. And one day I just got tired of it. It wasn't working, it wasn't really supporting me, and it wasn't supporting the people that I was trying to please, apparently. So I decided to hone in a bit more on myself and let go of what I thought other people wanted or needed.
Well, people's wants and needs they vary. Some people just want to acknowledge. Some people want to be praised. Other people want to be worshipped. And some people just want to feel normal because they're numb, especially after we've been through the last 2 years. This has been a roller coaster ride and an emotional treadmill for so many people. You formerly had work done or was doing work in the areas of meditation. Give my brains some clues and some tips on how to quiet that monkey mind. Now, before we get started, brains, I want you to understand. Some people say, oh, I can't meditate. There are so many different genres of meditation. There's walking meditation, there's silent meditation, there's visualization, there's guided meditation, there's music meditation, there's emotional freedom technique meditation. So there's a lot of things that you can do. You don't have to sit in the lotus position and, hum, there's also chanting meditations, but you don't have to do that. There's several ways. So what I want you to try to do is try to incorporate one of these modalities in your life and make it I make it a daily practice. But some people can. If you can do it once a week, once every 3 days when you get stressed, and teach it to your children. What are some of your suggestions, Chrissy, on that?
Okay, I'm a really big believer of unpacking the emotional stuff to really discover what's yours and what's not.
Mm,
And the first thing I suggest in doing that is to, as much as the feelings might be uncomfortable, to try and ascertain what it is that they're there for. What is the message that they're giving to you? And in order to do that, I find that if we write it or journal a little bit of it down. So I do what's called a reflection into action format. And this is where you pick up on an emotion, and we try and do just one at a time, because in a lot of people, there are so many different types of emotion, and become mindful of what that emotion is feeling in your body, how it's making you feel. So, for example, anxiety is what a lot of people I deal with have. And one of the things that causes is then overwhelm. It can cause panic, heart rate pumps, all these horrible physical symptoms as well. So if we can hone in onto what the emotion is, unpack that emotion, discover the reason why it's even there. Is it long term? Is it genetic? Is it root caused by programming or childhood stuff? Once you get to the root cause of that emotion, you can then start to deal with it in a more positive way. So reflecting on it, figuring out why it's there, what symptoms is it causing to you, and creating an outcome that you would prefer, and making the feelings of that outcome override, if you like, the emotion that you don't actually want to have. So it's unpacking it, being mindful of it, not burying it and expecting it to go away on its own.
Right. So you don't suppress it, because that's what keeps it encapsulated, and then it's going to explode, and that could be ugly brains. You can get emotions splattered all over the place.
That's it. That's when it literally hits the fan, and you're expressing these emotions that have been locked up inside you for so long in really unhealthy ways. I liken it to that you're like a castle, and when you're born, all the lights are on, the doors are open, and as time goes on, somebody might say, you're too loud, you shut that door, you're too bossy, we shut that door. All these doors start to get shut, but the emotions are still festering behind there. So someone says you're too angry, you keep shutting it down and going, I can't get angry, I can't do this, I can't do that. And then all of a sudden, someone's going to just trigger something in you. And, like the straw that breaks the camel's back, after years of suppressing it, it's going to come out in really unhealthy ways. So I always suggest open the door, look at it, reflect on it, and let it come into your body, so that you know that it's okay to feel anger, but don't pent it up. Find healthier ways to express. And that's not just with anger, it's with sadness, guilt, shame, all the other emotions that are a part of it. They have messages, and we really need to understand what those messages are for us. It's the spiritual part, the energetic part of us that's trying to speak to us through our intuitive self. Right. And we're shutting it down, we're blocking it.
Listen to your intuition.
Yes.
Don't cover it up with drugs, alcohol, or chocolate cake.
Or even those.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, even those emotions. They don't suppress it with bad emotions. Get them out. and the good ones are underneath there. They're waiting.
So you got a person that's heady, that gets it, that's already doing this kind of
Yes.
practice and meditating. How do they keep this as a focus and as a balance? And the reason why I say that, they've done the deep work. They've risen above it. But sometimes people fall
Mm-hmm.
in that pit, or they suffer with now a new syndrome, the imposter syndrome. Oh, I've got it all together. I'm this 5-figure executive. I'm super cute, this, that, and the other. So you've got people that are really in that headspace too. What do you say to those individuals?
I really think that sometimes the people that have done all that work sometimes still haven't got to the root cause, because we forget that the root cause could be genetic even. And I go into that, even the past life, like, let's look at what's going on in the whole of your energetic self. So sometimes it's easy to practice all the modalities, unpack all of your emotions, sort through it, clear them out, and think you've got it together. But then what have you got genetically? What's in that bloodstream? It's about really pacing back further and finding those things that you may not have even thought about.
Well, epigenetics are really big, but now when you're looking at the cellular level, you have a lot of people that are working in nutrition and neurolinguistic programming, where they're actually working to change the composition of the cells and of that work. That can be scary though, because in some situations people have to relive that trauma. In other situations, they're able to recognize it, get up to a certain point, and reframe it.
Yes.
So they want to go from, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I don't do the reliving part of it, because I believe that it's only the energetic, so if fear is an energetic thing that comes from a past or in your cells or generational, it's the feeling that we want to change. It's the experience can sometimes be quite irrelevant, because we experience things differently through our state of mind at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
And what could feel traumatic to you as a 2-year-old might not be traumatic as an adult, to an adult that hasn't had that experience. So my example of this is when we're quite young, we might be going to say Nana's house. She's got this beautiful little chihuahua. We go there. We're so excited. 2-year-old runs in. A chihuahua's probably up to their waist, because they're still little as well. Yeah. And it jumps up and you're all excited, but it nips your little earring out, and you start to have a really bad experience from it, from the reactions from the people around you experiencing that. So what happens then is it creates a fear in you of maybe dogs or just chihuahuas. And as you get older, the energetic feeling doesn't change. You might say to yourself, like, why am I scared of this dog? Why am I scared of such a small dog? It's not about the experience. It's about the feeling that's been conjured up.
Right.
And that's what we've got to even out, break free, sort it out, and change that vibrational patterning, if you like.
So you wrote a book, Crappy versus Happy. People are always chasing the happiness high. To me, it's like a cocaine, it's like a chocolate cake. I must have a taste for chocolate cake. I keep talking about it. Whatever it is that turns you from a flicker to a flame. Happiness is great, but people are always searching for the next thing to make them happy. Is it going to be that car? Is it going to be that job? Is it going to be that check? Is it going to be that hair color? Is it going to be those new glasses? They're always looking at that. And one thing in meditation and energy work is to teach people to be mindful and to be in the present. How do we stay in the present and learn to just be content when we're at a great place, instead of always chasing something to make us feel better?
I think that's in the art of relaxing, learning how to relax and just, it's the gratitude, isn't it? It's the gratefulness of being happy with what you have. And if you keep searching for those materialistic things, it's more about you're trying to you're trying to you're suppressing something. That's it. It's there's always, like you mentioned, the drugs, or chasing to change the way you look, or the way how much money you have, or what car you drive. That is just something that you're covering up. And I think once you've uncovered and you completely know who you are, what's yours and what's not, is when you basically start to create that peacefulness, that relaxed state of mind. So you are not searching for the next thing. You're searching within for the experiences, not so much the possessions or the changes that might make it better for you.
So when you say get rid of the stuff, where are you going to put it? Because it is still innately a part of who you are. It's a part of your experience. It's a part of your journey. It's a part of your learning. If you do not experience certain things, you're not going to have the rite of passage. So you say get rid of other people's stuff. Well, I understand sorting it, but where do you sort those things?
Okay. I use what I call a brain dump. So
I do
I
those.
basic
I want to hear
sorry.
yours. I do those, but let me hear what yours is, and I'll tell you what mine is.
Right. So mine's like a mindful to mindful space. So when you're worried about a lot of things or about a lot of other people, I write down everything, every person I'm worried about, what I'm worried about them for, and then I make a list of what I actually can achieve to support them, and things that I can support them with, not what I can't. So, for example, if you have someone that's, if you're looking after an elderly parent and they, I don't know, oh, they sort of want to do a lot of things that they can't. You can only support them in what they can do. So you might be worried about them because they can't do their own shopping, or they're not getting enough company where they are. And instead of selling every bit of spare time that you have to support them, and then making yourself miserable for supporting them and even resentful, make it so that you can support them but be fully present in that support, instead of draining all of your energy.
Right,
So
right.
it's then you're getting it out of your head and creating mindful solutions to be able to support someone in a present way. So that's how I brain dump. And it can be to do with money or bills or anything that's in my mind, workload. It's like, well, what can I actually do about that now?
Yeah,
What can
I
I
do the same
do?
thing. I create
Yes.
lists, and I do whatever is on my mind. And your hand, it has to be written, brains. It's not something that you want to type. It's not something that you want to auto record, because you want that connectivity from the brain through the body, through the hand, out on pencil and paper. That is where I leave it. That is where I
Yes.
store it. If I need to go back and refer to it, it's documented, but it's a place for it, because you have to have a place to store it. So we are so, in a synergy and alignment on that. Let's talk a little bit about your book, Crappy versus Happy. Let's see that.
There you go.
Wait a minute.
Lots of
Let
smiley
my brain
faces.
see that. That is so, I love that. All those little faces and emojis. That is perfect. So,
Thank you.
what is inside the pages of that book?
Okay, so this is a workbook that I designed and you can go online and download an actual workbook as well. It's designed to work through each of your energy centers. So it's starting from the ground up, and it starts from belief patterns that you've been brought up with. And then I write about creating your own be life system. So there might be beliefs that you have that no longer suit your lifestyle for the 21st century. So it's like you can change them. We can change beliefs. We can change our lifestyles. We can change how we feel about our own energy. So it works up through your beliefs and your tribal stuff that you're brought up with, to honoring yourself, to being able to release and unpack the emotional baggage that we've talked about earlier. It's about how different people love. So it's about heart expression and what we expect to experience from love, and how we give love that might not necessarily be how other people want to receive it. It's about communication, about expressing and not suppressing. And then we move up into your intuitive mind and sorting out how you're, one of the last chapters is called I Spy with My Third Eye. It's about opening up and trusting in your intuitive self, your energetic self, to pick up what experiences are for you, because we can never stop what's meant to be for us. It's how we process it that's important. Are we going to lay down and just go, well, my life is terrible, and turn to the drugs, the alcohol, or whatever it else is that we're trying to fill that up with? It's about being present and aware of what these emotions and feelings are, and using our intuitive self to decipher the messages so that we can learn from what we're experiencing.
Absolutely, absolutely. You have an amazing online program. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, I've due to the big C word that's out there, I did have a facility where I hosted a lot of workshops, and I used to do a program called Dare to Grow, which is now called Finding Your Peaceful Mind program. And because I couldn't get out in the community and actually share all this information, I've put it as an online program called Finding Your Peaceful Mind Path. It's 11 modules. It's based a lot around my book and the workshops and the exercises and tasks that are in my book, but it goes a lot deeper. It's a self-paced program, or if you want accountability, you've got support from me, an online community that's also going through the online program. We all get together and have coaching and group sessions, and it really unpacks every facet of your being to be able to experience this life in a more peaceful way, instead of dragging all that baggage from the past into your future. Let's learn from everything we've experienced and move forward with that inspired intention. So a goal that is just really going to make us feel satisfied and curious about life, like we were, I guess, when we were younger and we really wanted to try new things, which I think we all stop doing as we get older, and the fear and the anxiety and overwhelm and that mind chatter tell us we can't do or we shouldn't do. So,
And they're stuck. They're stuck in their old ways. We have to understand that the world is a much different place. And these last 2 years have magnified that. And brains, you better get in line or you're going to get left behind. Because people are moving and shaking. Those that really want to be awoken to this new evolution of life. We are ever evolving. It's when the Neanderthal man first stood up. We're going to space now on a recreational trip. So we have to be forward and progressive thinkers. We really do. Now, if you want to get stuck in that same old stuff, you're going to be in a world all by yourself, and it can be pretty lonely. But it's not lonely with you, Chrissy, because you are the business. Please tell my brains how to get in contact with you, your website, how to purchase a copy of Crappy versus Happy, and your online program.
Okay, you can get in contact with me just by hooking into my Chrissy Chrissy page, because that's where I am. You can get my book by contacting me on my Chrissy Chrissy page or emailing me at chrissy@peacefulmindpath.com, and I will certainly reach out and connect, because I really like connecting with the people that are interested in what I do. I've got a pretty tight niche, I guess, on creating that space for people that want to be in that space, that do want to create the change and be the change that they want to see in the world, as Dr. Wayne Dyer would say. That's the change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. That's the one I'm looking for. So yes, if you're ready to experience change and find some peace of mind, peace of body, peace of life, just Chrissy, message me, whatever, I'll be there.
She said, just message me, Chrissy, and I'll be right there. It sounds like a Michael Jackson song. Thank you so much for being here on the edge with me, Chrissy. You are the business. I appreciate you. I value you. You rock. You really do. Brains, it's not hard. It's not hard. Person told me this one time. She said, change. You cannot be afraid of change if you are willing to make it, because if you don't, you will remain the same. So make the investment. Look at yourself in the mirror. Try to do a little unpacking yourself. Have something to present to Chrissy, something to work with. We can't just start digging. You already know your trauma, your drama, your questions, the conversations you're having. Start documenting that. Do a brain dump. And then go into one of those forms of meditation that we talked about. You can get them online. Chrissy, I'm sure she's got some online programs, but just try to be still and be quiet and be grateful for everything that you have, because it is a gift, and you have been a gift. Thank you so much, Chrissy.
See you, everyone. Thank you so much, April. It's been wonderful.
You're the best.
Bye-bye.
Get together, brains.